Do you want to boost your self-confidence? I'm going to share with you some information about building self-confidence that's very important to understand. Once you do, you'll be able to get working right away on improving your self-confidence. I help my clients dig deep to discover the underlying belief that they have that causes them to behave a certain way. Then we work on changing that habit to a new belief, which in turn drives your desired replacement behavior. Keeping this in mind, if you want more self-confidence, you need to discover which of your beliefs prevent you from building it. I'll discuss that shortly. It's important to accurately diagnose your symptoms before you can reliably identify your problem beliefs. Going back to the health analogy, it's good information for your doctor to know that you have a fever, but isn't it better for them to understand how you got that fever? Of course, but even more than that, great doctors don't just treat the flu or pneumonia or sepsis or blood poisoning. They figure out how your ailment arose and they treat you in a way that will usually prevent you from getting it again anytime soon. Following this analogy, low self-confidence is akin to the fever, the symptom, but something else is akin to the underlying disease of the flu, and that's low self-esteem. And because I know that your disease is low self-esteem, we can apply the correct treatment, which in this case is an easy-to-follow process. Okay, I can imagine some of you scratching your head wondering, what's the distinction between self-confidence and self-esteem? It's a subtle but very important distinction to understand. See, even actors who don't think highly of themselves have low self-esteem, and they can put on the self-confidence necessary to perform well in a play or a film. They're trained and talented in the art of fake it until you make it. And that's a temporarily effective medicine, but it's no cure. So if you want a cure for low self-confidence, you have to work on improving your self-esteem, which entails discovering what beliefs you hold about your self-worth, beliefs that prevent you from building self-esteem, which will, in turn, prevent you from building self-confidence. I hope you're following me because the mental exercise I just described is important to understand. It sets the table for what you need to do next. If you're confused, I recommend you repeat this video from the beginning. Okay, before we go further, this is a good time to mention a few exceptional circumstances. First, for some of you, low self-esteem isn't something you experience most of your lifetime. Everybody has experienced a temporary sense of low self-worth because of a divorce, the death of a loved one, a severe illness, and a great many other fleeting causes. Still, it won't hurt you to use my behavior replacement process because it will help you to get out of your slump. Second, your cultural background, how you were parented, childhood trauma experiences, and life circumstances, they all play a role in forming very ingrained beliefs about your self-worth. My process will still work in all such cases, but you might have to use it for a longer time than the average of 3 to 6 weeks. So I encourage you to stick with it. Third, importantly, to successfully work on the problem, you need to actually admit that you have the problem. Alcoholics and drug addicts who are in denial about the extent of their self-abuse can't rectify their problems without first admitting that they're addicted. On a related note, addictions to alcohol, drugs, sex, eating disorders are all indicators of low self-esteem, which I'm going to show you is itself caused by a low level of self-love. The late, great psychologist, Dr. Abraham Maslow, is most famous for his theory called the hierarchy of human needs. I don't know anyone who works with people's behaviors who doesn't believe in the reliability of the hierarchy of human needs. It's a model for what's required to achieve high self-esteem and self-actualization. The hierarchy makes it clear that one cannot achieve high self-esteem without first mastering the level below it, which is to be loved and to belong. And if we are to be loved, we must first love ourselves. So it should come as no surprise that, in my extensive coaching experience, the underlying cause of low self-esteem is a lack of self-love. You can't directly control how much love you receive from other people, but anyone can increase the level of love that they have for themselves. Importantly, self-love builds your self-worth, which is synonymous with self-esteem. Now, it's important to know that self-love is not about becoming a narcissist. Rather, it's about forgiving yourself and recognizing your unique value to others among other great blessings. This is an important belief to take onto yourself because you can't improve your self-esteem without loving yourself. So if you're uncomfortable with the idea of loving yourself, you really must get over it. The simplest rationale I've given my clients about self-love being all right is that Christ famously said, "You shall love your neighbor as you love yourself." If God intended for us to hate ourselves, then it follows that we couldn't truly love others, and that's certainly not what God wants for us. My process involves a combination of positive reinforcement supported by a new habit you'll learn for reducing the frequency of your negative thoughts. Once your old beliefs are replaced by your newly formed beliefs, then change occurs. My process will definitely help you and not hurt you. However, I can't stress enough how much quicker success will come if you get a great coach to help you with your journey. For example, you might have a life experience that needs to be taken into account that you'll miss, but I probably won't. Hey, and it's important to know that coaches have coaches, therapists have therapists, and ministers have support groups and mentors. Everybody needs a coach. Subjective outside help is usually the difference between success and failure in any endeavor. If you truly want to master the art of fixing yourself, let me coach you. I will show you the ins and outs of my process for boosting your self-confidence. I recommend that you take me up on my offer of a 1-hour free coaching appointment. Just call me to schedule it or text me via SMS or WhatsApp. My number is, in America, +1 267 716 1400. That's 267 716 1400. Lastly, people often ask me, how will I know when I've arrived? That is, how will you know when you've confidently developed self-esteem? Well, it's simple. You'll treat yourself with respect by looking after your health, your family, and your community. You'll take your avocations seriously. You'll accept emotional pain and disappointment as growth experiences that only make you stronger and never weaker. You'll invest your time in situations that others avoid because they're risky situations and because you won't have fear of rejection or failure. Because of your resilience, you'll be tolerant of others, forgiving of others and yourself, open to opportunities, and you'll find yourself being in a state of joy more than you ever were before. If that's what you want, it'll take effort on your part, but my behavior change process is the quickest way I've seen to do it. So read my complete guide in good health, but know that you must do the homework. It's through the homework that you get anything out of this. Answer the worksheet questions completely and honestly. You're the only one who stands to lose by lying to yourself or to your coach. And work the process without using shortcuts. I've already made the process as straightforward as it's going to get. If you haven't already purchased my affordable ebook, Kick the Habit, Break Behaviors That Hold You Back, The Complete Guide, the easiest way to procure it is by my website. Go to my website at www.senseipeter.com. That's www.senseipeter.com. All one word. The best time to get started is now, while you're thinking of it. If you put this off, in my experience, you will never pick it up again. So get started.